never done this before. We're doing a bump because the problem is happening now. We're at 4% now. Share with you. I'm trying to get
on now.
There you are.
All right, thank you. All right.
Test. Yeah, mine's on.
Well, believe it or not, these microphones have a color on them, and red that you would think is stop, but I shut it off, but it's actually go. So happy to have all of you here today for Oldham County Fiscal Court. If you have a cell phone with you, we encourage you to turn it to off or vibrate. I'll do that with my own. Can sometimes interfere with our meeting. So now, if you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think we have too long an agenda today. An important item for people who have come here, of course. And, I'm going to also announce the beginning meeting that I'm set up for a medical procedure tomorrow, and I had to take some material about it today. So if I have to actually get up and leave the room quickly for during the course of the meeting, Magistrate Greenwell will conduct the rest of the meeting and maybe take a break at that time. But yeah, I'm sensitive to having a reaction to something. So, all right, now I'm going to ask our clerk, Denise, to please read the minutes of the meeting. I'll call the roll. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice. Magistrate Woosley. Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins. Here. Magistrate Dye. Here. Magistrate Logston. Here. Judge Vogel.
Having all the members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. So motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Are there any additions?
Judge, I'd like to add this probably would be under county administration unless you find a different place. I have two actions to do today. One would be the CPI correction for the employees and the CPI correction for the magistrates in the coroner.
All right. How about if we put that, that's a finance committee recommendation, and why don't we put that after Brad said or Carol under committee recommendations?
Okay, that's fine.
Anyone else?
Do you have anything?
All right. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now our clerk, Denise Clark, will read the minutes from our previous meeting.
The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting on February 15th, 2022 at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Kevin Woosley, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hound, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logston. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the agenda. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting minutes from February 1st, 2022 were read and approved with Magistrate Likens abstaining. Matt Rhodes, Director for the Oldham County Health Department, provided an update on COVID-19. During public comment, the following community members spoke in opposition to masking in schools: Michelle Elliott, Annabelle Springer, Abby Springer, and Lindsay Tishner. The following sealed bid was opened and read aloud for 3709 and 3711 Locust Circle East Drainage Improvements. Louisville Paving, $29,380. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Woosley to accept the Sheriff's Office financial statement for the 2021 calendar year. Motion carried 8-1. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Logston to authorize the payment of the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Dye to authorize budget transfers in the amount of $107,906.27. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Woosley to authorize Judge Vogel to sign the resolution which allows the Police Department and the Sheriff's Office to apply for the Kentucky Department of Highway Safety Grant. Motion carried unanimously. Amy Alvey, Assistant Director for Planning and Development Services, presented for second reading public hearing an update to the comprehensive zoning ordinance. Michael Williams with Oldham County Board of Education and Jim Urban, Director of Planning and Development Services, spoke in favor of the changes to the ordinance. Motion made by Magistrate Hawkins and seconded by Magistrate Logston to adopt ordinance number KOC 22-920-283, an update to the comprehensive zoning ordinance, as submitted with the addition of wording in Part 5, Mitigation, letter D, after include open space, add the words above and beyond the minimum of what is required by zoning ordinance. Motion carried unanimously. Thomas McIntyre, Senior Planner for Oldham County Planning and Development Services, presented for second reading public hearing the zoning map amendment for the 1200 block of North Highway 393 in Buckner. Attorney Barry Baxter, representing the applicant, Dr. Jerry Ahrens, provided an introduction and testimony in support of the application for the zoning change. Carl Lentz, engineer for LJB, spoke in favor of the application. Judge Vogel asked if there was anyone to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment. Lisa Paris spoke to her concerns of pedestrians crossing Highway 393. Director of Planning and Development Services Jim Urban responded the Highway 393 realignment will take a lot of the traffic away from the area and a crosswalk is not required. Mr. Baxter responded that parents should be accompanying minor students to appointments, and he does not believe it is going to be any more traffic than before, especially as Highway 393 is realigned. Having no one else speak in opposition, the public hearing was closed. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Logston to adopt ordinance number KOC 21-920-279, the zoning map amendment on 1.2 acres for property located at the 1200 block of North Highway 393 Buckner from I-2 Heavy Industrial District to C3 General Commercial District for a profession office for Ahrens Orthodontics. Magistrate Dye called for the question. Magistrate Likens seconded. A roll call was taken to end the debate. Motion carried 6-3 with the following fiscal court members voting no: Magistrate Woosley, Magistrate Hawkins, and Judge Vogel. A roll call vote was taken on the motion to adopt ordinance number KOC 21-920-279. Motion carried unanimously. Thomas McIntyre presented for second reading public hearing the zoning map amendment for 3601, 3603, and 3607 West Highway 146 Buckner. Attorney Barry Baxter, representing the applicant, Key Commercial Realty, provided an introduction and testimony in support of the application for the zoning change. The following attendees provided testimony in support of the application: Mike Hill of Land Planner for Land Design and Development, and Billy Deckler, Key Commercial Realty. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Logston to adopt ordinance number KOC 21-920-281, the zoning map amendment on 1.57 acres for property located at 3601, 3603, and 3607 West Highway 146 Buckner from R2 Residential District and R2A Residential District to R4 Residential District for the Delker Buckner Apartments. Motion carried 6-3 on a roll call vote with the following magistrates voting in opposition: Wayne Tice, Steve Greenwell, and Stephanie Hopkins. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Tice upon recommendation from the county engineer to reduce the performance bond to $64,335.91 as it relates to Saddlewood Estates, Section 1. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Logston upon recommendation from the county engineer to release the $16,707 performance bond as it relates to the Saddlewood subdivision. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Tice to accept the following road into the county road maintenance system: Saddle Ridge Court, 536.52 linear feet of roadway starting at Hidden Falls Drive and ending at the cul-de-sac. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Woosley to approve the job description for Chief Building Official. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Woosley to approve the job description for Assistant Dispatch Director. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Woosley and seconded by Magistrate Logston to approve the job description for Administrative Assistant Accounting Clerk. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Likens to approve the job description for Executive Administrative Assistant. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Likens to hire Allison Thompson as Administrative Assistant Accounting Clerk at $20 an hour, effective 2/22/2022. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Likens for the reclassification of Denise Clark to Executive Administrative Assistant effective 2/22/2022. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to hire Allison Kirknick as building monitor at $7.50 an hour effective 2/16/2022. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to terminate Hunter Hamilton effective 2/2/2022. Motion carried unanimously. Judge Vogel announced the resignation of Amberly Green from dispatch effective 3/2/2022. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Hawkins to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting adjourned at 5:48 p.m.
You heard the reading of our minutes from February 15th. Are there any corrections? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Time now for public comment. That's the time during the meeting when we allow anyone who would like to speak to the fiscal court to do so. I believe there may be some individuals here who come in relation to the questions about the pool. If you have questions about that, I ask you to just wait. We'll give you a chance to speak later. If you have some other item you'd like to address the fiscal court about, we allow up to 4 minutes, and you're welcome to come forward now. Right.
There may be a couple in the audience who cannot wait until after the pool report who wanted to talk about the pool. I know you said for them to wait, but a couple of them cannot wait for scheduling issues, at least one.
Right. Is there someone in that circumstance?
Okay, she's saying she can wait.
All right. All right. Thank you. Anybody else who would like to address fiscal court about some other issue? Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment and go forward. Next item on the agenda, we have a bid opening here for surface water quality monitoring. Oldham County has requested bids for environmental and or consultant services to complete surface water quality monitoring activities in order to assess the primary contact recreation designated area use within the Oldham County watersheds. And have a couple of them or one? Just one. All right. The water quality submission here, this is from Atlas Technical Consulting of Louisville, Kentucky. And is this an RFP or RFQ? Okay. It looks to me like bid price is $9,300. Okay. We give that to Melissa Horn, our county treasurer. And now we're going to move forward with all right. The next bid opening has to do with the hazardous waste collection. Every year, I believe it's October, isn't it, Ms. Becky? Pardon? First Saturday in October at the fairgrounds, we collect all kinds of things that you accumulated in your garage or basement that you aren't supposed to get rid of at recycling or dump in the environment. So there's generally about 400 or 500 people that show up with all kinds of different things and oil and there's one thing, isn't it? And paint. Right. So we have just one. All right. This is from Environmental Enterprises in Cincinnati. I believe it's the same group that always bids. And going to flip a few pages here to find out what their bid is. $29,399.20. All right. We thank Environmental Enterprises for that bid. The next item on the agenda is the solid waste area summary report for 2021, and Becky Zuckline will review that with the court.
Judge, every year I submit an annual report of all the disposal of all waste, all solid waste within the county or from within the county, which requires not only tabulating everything that goes through the recycling center, but also everything that is hauled out of the county by private haulers. So this summary mainly speaks to how all of that waste has affected the county budget. It's mainly fiscal information. So that's what this one-page summary entails. And I invite any questions.
Anybody? Magistrate Hawkins?
I'd like to make the motion that we allow you to sign the Solid Waste Management 2021 Annual Report as presented by Becky Zockline, our Solid Waste Coordinator.
Second.
All right. Discussion. Magistrate Hawkins?
Say this came through Environmental Recycling and Utilities Committee for review before presenting it here today.
Most of the things that show up on our agenda have been reviewed by one of the 9 committees that we have here at Fiscal Court, and this one is Environmental and Solid Waste. All right. Any questions about it?
I don't have a question, but I do have a statement. We spent $79,000. 74 of that was a grant, and we picked up 516 miles of roads, literally along 516 miles in the county, and picked up 3,300 bags of trash. So I just want to commend you and your group. You also recycled over 400 pounds of cardboard and paper. So, yes, tons. So, wanted to commend you. Good job.
Right. Of course, our recycling center is open.
It's every 7 days a week from dawn to dusk for self-service drop-off. And any items needing to be dropped off with assistance, our staff is there from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday.
All right. Anything further? All right. We've had a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. At county administration, well, each 2 weeks we pay bills, and they've accumulated. And when we're ready, we'll have a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any questions regarding any of the bills submitted? Magistrates have all had everything on their agenda for the past several days. They get it on Friday and have a chance to look over and discuss and ask any questions that they may want to ask of staff prior to them. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is a bid award for 3709 and 3711 East Locust Circle Road, the drainage improvement project, and Jim Silliman will review that with the court.
I'm a county engineer. This project is to address homes in the East Locust Circle. It's the River Bluff Farms neighborhood that receive stormwater runoff from a large watershed in the Hillcrest area of 42. During a larger storm event, some of these houses have been flooded. So plans have been drawn up to modify the system in the rear of these homes to add some pipe and a small receiving basin and catch basins to address this issue. So I'm requesting a fiscal court award this contract in the amount of $29,380 to Louisville Paving, the low, responsive, and responsible bidder.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Second.
Moved and second that we award to Louisville Paving a contract for $29,380 to do drainage improvement work at 3709 and 3711 East Locust Circle. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on today's agenda has to do with the Parks Committee. Recommendations and report regarding our pool. I know the Parks Committee would like to address this, but I would first like to ask our consultants, Brandstetter Carroll, who are here today, to come forward and explain to the court the report you gave the Parks Committee and the deficiencies you found at the pool. I'm going to ask each one of you to identify yourself. So,
Members of the court, thank you for having us today. My name is Phil Schilfarth. I'm an architect with Brandstetter Carroll, and with me is Charlie Schneider, is our aquatics engineer. And so, being the duo we are, architect and engineer, we assess facilities and design facilities as well. And so, we were tasked with doing a facility assessment of the existing aquatic center. And so, my objective was to review the buildings, and Charlie looked at the aquatic components associated with the pool and things of that nature. So just a high level recap with the building review. A lot of exterior instances had drywall, which is pretty uncommon in an outdoor facility. Although it was a moisture resistant drywall, it has degraded over time. And so that will require some attention. There was also an instance of a closet with some mold into it. So there was some moisture concerns there with getting the moisture out, evacuating that. So that would need to be addressed. Overall, the building conditions are I guess what you would expect with a building that's 20 years old. It's really not that bad. There are some maintenance issues, some fine tuning here and there. But overall, the facility has been maintained, and some improvements have been made over the years to help that facility move along.
Pools, on the other hand, are a little bit of a different story.
I'll ask you just project as much as you can so that your remarks are easily heard.
Sure, sorry. So pools are a little bit of a different story. Pools themselves are it's a harsh environment. It's a environment that takes a lot of toll on the infrastructure. And, every 15, 20, 25 years, major renovation projects have to be done on pools. It's just a little bit of a nature of the facility itself. Four of the main things that we found wrong with this pool, we have to start with number one being the leaks. There is a major leak in the pool that is draining water at a rate that the chemicals can't keep the water clean. This is a major issue. It's an issue with the health department and being able to keep the pool open. Normally speaking, pool leaks are easy to find and easy to take care of. In this case, they have been chasing the leak, and we're at a point now that it's going to take replacing all of the pool piping underneath all the pool deck to get that leak fixed and repaired. Along with that comes the fact that the pool has settled on one of the corners, and this causes the gutter system no longer to be level. This also has to do with the cleaning of the water. If the gutter's not level, it's not properly cleaning the water. And the health department will also look at this as a major issue. There's another area of the pool that is a little bit out of level too that would require some remediation in the zero entry portion of it. Another major problem with this pool is the filtration system. The original filters are steel. They are rusting. They have been painted and maintained over the years, but it's getting to a point to where those steel filters need to be replaced. Steel filters are no longer really used in facilities like this anymore. They've pretty much gone to using fiberglass filters. And then the last issue is kind of an odd issue with pool codes in Kentucky and the way they're administered. The pool, even though it's a single body of water, has three separate filter and chemical systems controlling that. The three systems actually fight against each other and makes it very difficult to manage. And if you add on top of that the leaks and the other issues with the pool, it's come to a point that we're just going to have to separate this out and find a different way of managing that water.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. And I know you can stay available. You can go back to your seat, but if questions come up later, we'll call you back up. Okay. All right. I know a number of people have come to talk about this today, and I want to say first of all that we're all disappointed that the pool can't open. We take no pleasure in reaching this point, but I happened to just be looking around and I came across an article here from Hopkins County. Their pool's closed this summer. Same reason ours is. They've reached the point where it can't go further. Theirs was built in 2007, and the comments from the people that are in charge down there are basically the same comments that you're hearing here today. That pools don't last forever without major maintenance. It's just as simple as that. I want to address a few of the comments that have appeared on Facebook. I tried to address them during the weekend, but I'll repeat them here because we may have someone that hadn't heard them or didn't read them. Or the county, we have consistently done maintenance on this pool every year. I have the maintenance records of what was done. In the 2017 season, prior to opening in that year, we spent $65,000 with aquatic construction services to pressure test all drain lines, replace all bolts, nuts, washers, and all valves, flange couplings, and activity pool filters with the stainless steel bolts, nuts, and washers, removed all gutter grates and cleaned and located cracks and holes in the steel gutter system, fixed with stainless steel welding, then installed modulating valves and replaced parts to make each work correctly for each drain, replaced the broken water line at the play feature, and 4 water jets there, replaced concrete and painted the area, removed and replaced a 25 horsepower motor on the activity pool. In subsequent years, 17, 18, and 19, we have spent a lot of money. In those years, we've spent $180,650 in various, in those 18, 19, and 20, and starting in 17, 18, 19, 20, doing these things. So there was criticism that, well, we just haven't paid attention. That's not a valid criticism. I'm sorry to say that we have paid attention. Each year our pool has been inspected, and the people who've done the inspections have made reports. We've responded positively to all of the reports and tried to keep the thing working, and we have for 20 years. The fact of the matter is, another issue that came up was that why didn't we close it last year? At this time last year, no one knew the pool would not be open. The governor closed pools in Kentucky sometime in March or April. That came up, and there was a hue and cry. Later they opened. They said they could be open. But there were a lot of restrictions put out that just weren't practical. You can't swim 6 feet away from people and so forth. So getting the pool fixed is not a short order proposition. If you fix the pool before, you're welcome to come forward and tell us where we fell short. But if you don't own a pool yourself or haven't ever fixed the pool, you have to go with professional people. None of us up here are professional pool replacement people. We have to accept the advice that is given to us, and we've acted on all of it. So our consultants here, Brandstetter Carroll have told us that they expect it to take around 15 months to fix this pool. If we'd have gotten into it sooner, it would have been the same amount of time. There is no 9-month period between an open and closing of a pool that you can get 15 months of construction work done. Those of us sitting up here are used to dealing with construction projects. We know that you have to design a plan, you have to bid a plan, you have to interview people who want to take the job. Those people have to mobilize, you award the contract, they have to mobilize their services. Weather delays arise, all kinds of things happen that are, let's say, put a drag on time. I've had the washer and dryer fixed at our house a number of times. When I call, they never come the next day. They always tell me they'll be there I'll be there in about 2 weeks. there just isn't anyone who you can call who's going to come tomorrow and do a small repair, much less come and do a multi-million dollar repair. It just doesn't happen that quick. So there were other things that were said. I'm not going to try to address all of them. We will if people have questions, but I understand where it's someone might say, well, you didn't do the maintenance, but we did do the maintenance. The maintenance just wore out. That's as simple as that. So I'm going to turn it over now to Magistrate Tice and the chairman of our Parks Committee and let him comment further and find out what the Parks Committee recommendation is.
First of all, everything everybody said up to this point is exactly correct. You've heard from the architects, you've heard from the judge. There's one word that I've got in here and it needs to be replaced with another word, and that word is repaired. We're at a point where we no longer can repair the pool. We've got to renovate it. And that's where the longer period of time goes. On our committee, we identified 5 or 6 questions. I'm going to read those to you. And these were what we asked our architect firm. And then we go into alternatives. And then what do we do as a court? First question is, can our pool be renovated? Their answer is yes. What would it be approximately? Now, we're living in a changing world, so we're not sure what the prices are, but their best estimate will be approximately. So we're talking about approximately $2.5 million. And that'll be with leveling the gutters and tearing out all the decks and doing all. We're going to do the whole renovation. What would be the life expectancy if we spent that money? Be somewhere between 15 to 18 years. From the time we make the decision to go forward with the renovation, how long will it take? Approximately 16 months. We have to go out there after we do an RFQ, which is the proposal, to get people to bid on the job. So that takes a little bit of time, and it all depends on how fast those people can get to it to take care of the work for us. The fifth question, what would be the cost if we just took and leveled all the ground and started with a brand new pool? And that would be $6 to $7 million. So we're well over twice. But we've also got 15 to 18 years by doing the renovation. Next question, how long would it take to build a new pool? Then we're into the 2-year range rather than the 15-month. The 15-month, if we get on it and everything goes well, we can possibly get this pool opened, not this summer, but the following summer. That weighed heavily on where we need to do. What are our alternatives? Well, first thing we could do is just close the pool and go out of the pool business like what's happening in Jefferson County. That's number one. We can renovate our existing pool and facilities with making a few minor changes to better the pool as we bring it back. And then the third choice will build a totally new pool and facilities either at this location or another one. I made a copy of this for all the magistrates, so everybody's got this in front of them up here so they know what we've talked about in our committee meetings. And now we have a point where we have, what do we do now? The step, if we decide to go forward, will be to do an RFQ so we can get that out right away and get people in so that we can do the design and engineering so we can put this thing out to bid. Anything else past that will be after we make that decision. And after if we do the RFQ, then it'll take about 7 to 10 days to get that out, advertise it out, and then hopefully we'll be back to this court with a proposal on who we want to accept for the RFQ on the 15th, and then at that point we go forward. So those are the options. It's what we're thinking. And at that point, we can either make a motion or go back to you, Judge, for whatever you want.
All right. Well, I think why don't we see, is there anybody here who has come to address the pool issue would like to get up and speak? And we allow 4 minutes to speak. And what we ask you to do is state your name and address. And please speak.
I
Click.
teach. I understand enunciating.
Pardon?
I teach, so I understand making sure you talk loud enough.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to pull that mic down. All right, great. Thank you.
My name is Mary Esterly. My address is 8501 Todd's Point Road, Crestwood, Kentucky, 40014. Judge, I come with a different perspective than a lot of people that are going to talk. I was there when we opened this pool. I worked with Laura Feast that first year. There were things that a lot of people had no clue that went on because our job was to make sure that the public, after we have invested that money, saw it as a wonderful place, and it was. My husband, Laura's husband, spent many nights in that pump room keeping things up and going. I'm not sure, sometimes we got brand new equipment on some of it. When they did the backfill, they ran over joints. Hence, that's why we've had to go through and dig up a lot of places. There have been leaks, there have been issues every year, and yes, the county has spent a tremendous amount of money trying to repair those. But I also come from this from a swim team perspective as well. My grandmother gave us $5,000. She told me, here's $5,000. Get that team up and going, because at that point in time, we swam for Sawyer and we brought the team out here. On an average, every summer, we have 150 to 200 kids on our team. These are kids that have swam with us from the time they were 4 years old, and we have a large amount of seniors this year. We don't ask for financial assistance from the county at all for our team. We're self-sufficient. We keep our prices so that they're as minimal as possible, that we can pay our bills and keep a balance in our account so that if there's an emergency or anything happens, we can pay it. For parents who have been without work or have several children and can't afford, we find a way to help them swim. Whether it's just say, bring them on if I need somebody. When I come at you on that pool deck and say, I need somebody to time or helping course, you don't shake your head no, you say, send me where you need me. We also give our graduating seniors a scholarship when they leave. We're not here about winning. Our swim team's not about winning. Our swim team is about teaching a lifelong skill to people, teaching our youngest members how, if they fall in a pool, how to sustain themselves and get to the side, or sustain themselves until they can get someone else. There are two of them. Right now, this year, I have 194 kids that are saying, we're not going to have a team. I guess we're asking, and I have some other things to address too, is there any way we could Band-Aid it? Our season's 5 weeks, and if not, is there another pool in the district or someplace close that would allow us to practice? We pay. We carry a liability policy of $2 million that covers the facility and our team, and we cover fiscal court with our policy and everything else. If you know anything about that, if somebody can please reach out to us. Before we even had a chance to approach a couple of pools in the district or in the county, we've been told they're not letting anybody in. Didn't matter. They didn't even want to talk to us.
Talking about private pools at country clubs, things like that.
About all that. None of them seem receptive to let anybody in the county, if you're not a member or live in their subdivision, allow you to come and swim. I understand that from a liability standpoint, but we have a little bit different thing that I carry the liability policy. Also, I'm a parent of high school swimmers. Now, my girls are older now. They coach on the swim team. They've gone through the ranks from the time they were 3. My two youngest have 4 girls, swam from the time they were 3 on that team and graduated, volunteered in the summers, and then became coaches. And, I don't know. We just need something for them. Do you realize 2,000 kids come through there through the summer swim program or the summer school programs as well every week to utilize that pool? I'm sorry, I lost my place on here. I'm trying to stay succinct and to the point. So we also do need a place for our high school kids to swim. I know I'm running close. The high school kids need some place. I've been that parent that traveled to Shelby County. I've been that parent that traveled to Blairwood. We do need an indoor facility eventually out here. If we can make it work, can we fix this pool? Is there any way we can Band-Aid it for this summer while you're waiting on your bids and stuff? Our season's over July 16th, that we could possibly get in to swim.
I can't answer that question, but sorry, I think at this point the answer would have to be no. But if you'll contact me, I'll tried to talk to some other places, and I'll do what I can to try to help you.
We would greatly appreciate that more than you would ever know.
Thank you. Or anybody else who would like to address the fiscal court? Pardon? When does your swim season start, Mary?
Center in the evenings until the season. We flip to mornings. We practice. Last year we held three.
Okay. Thank you. All right. All right. Please give us your name and address.
My name is Renee Whitlam. I live at 4203 Hayfield Way, Prospect, Kentucky. And I'm not used to doing this, so bear with me. Regarding the pool, Mr. Vogel, I don't believe you. There were whispers for years that the powers that be wanted to turn over control of that pool to an outside company like the Y. If that happens, it will destroy the affordability to many of our local residents. As the richest county in the state, there are plenty of options for the wealthy, but the families of average or below average means can't afford those. Many citizens don't even have a voice at these meetings because they're at 2 p.m. while people are still working. Park business is normally on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, but somehow this pool got moved up to the 1st Tuesday. So let's talk about the pool. This pool, our only county pool, brought together all colors, ages, income levels. Mr. Vogel keeps reassuring everyone the pool will eventually reopen, and there is money to do that. Also, poor Mr. Vogel, we couldn't afford an extra $5,000 for fireworks this past 4th of July. Mr. Vogel keeps presenting the pool issues as recent. They are not. The existing problems may have worsened due to neglect. There were rumblings that the pool was not even winterized in 2020. That could explain some burst pipes. A fire hose took up permanent residence at the pool years ago because of the leaks. Laura Feast, the former manager, the heart and soul of this pool, was very vocal about these problems. Laura worked long hours, 6-7 hours a week, 6-7 days a week, all summer long. Mr. Vogel, don't condescend to the public that we just don't understand what's involved in taking care of a big pool. Laura understood and battled for these recent problems, as you choose to call them, even though she was forced from the Parks Department years ago. Mr. Vogel, if I get a hole in my roof, I don't call Frank Lloyd Wright to come fix it. Essentially, you want to hire Frank Lloyd Wright, aka Brandsetter Carroll, to fix a leak. Brandsetter Carroll, major, good architect firm. It seems there should be a more practical choice that is faster, more affordable, and fixes the pool we have. If Mr. Vogel really cared about fixing the pool, he could have rallied early in the pandemic. Even if it had taken 2 summers to fix, we would have a working pool for 2022. But no, Mr. Vogel was more obsessed with chopping down trees at Westport the taxpayers petitioned to keep. Mr. Vogel, and I quote, "I think they killed the vista," proceeded to spend $6,500 of taxpayer money to remove them. Mr. Vogel has expressed desire to build a new facility, probably wants to put his name on it. Mr. Tice and Ms. Hawkins even discussed a 4-season plan at Westport last February 2021. Even if we had the money, it would take a long time to get permits to alter or add to an existing structure, and even longer to build from scratch, especially if Westport is suggested, which would require the Army Corps of Engineers. Don't let this group scare you into believing that our current pool is too old. The largest circulating pool in the world was built in 1925. It's an hour and a half up the road, and it will be open this summer. Old is a relative term. What matters most are qualified caretakers and routine maintenance. I regret my own apathy regarding Laura, the pool, and local government affairs, but I'm watching closely now, and I hope everyone else is too. It's an election year. Let's hold you all accountable. Mr. Vogel's not the king of Oldham County. Save our pool. Thanks, everybody.
Right. I know nobody wants me to respond to you, but I'm going to say two things. Number one, there's no discussion at all here about turning this pool over to the YMCA. Whispers are whispers. There's no basis in fact whatsoever on any claim like that. The fireworks were last year. The charge was going to be $17,000, not $5,000. Well, that wasn't. It was 12,000 several years ago, and then it kept creeping up. Ma'am, you had your 4 minutes, please. So, all right, we're dealing with a professional pool company here. We're not turning this work over to a local plumbing company or somebody that is not like that. So, all right, did you have the other lady came up? Were you a support person or just? Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to address? All right, come forward. Okay.
I'm Janine Chesser-Heber. I've been a native here in LaGrange, Kentucky for 44 years, and I have recently moved to Pendleton 7 years ago to buy some land. And I just want to share that, we were on the Oldham County Grapevine, and we were all discussing about the pool. And it's after I'm standing here listening to what you was explaining with your records and your maintenance and everything, that wasn't like all listed until you had to come on there and explain it to us. So that really allowed a lot of chattering of us assuming on a lot of stuff. Okay. So I first will apologize. I will stand to be corrected because that's what adults do, Mr. Woosley and Mr. Vogel. So also I wanted to ask a question is $2.5 million to fix a pool is a lot of money. We know that. So I'm sitting there listening to the gentleman here about the pool. There's a lot of stuff that's messed up. So I guess the question is this is what do you call it, an investment, right? So how are we going to protect this investment in the future? Because he had said there was steel, right? Steel filters, or is that what that was? I have a pool and it's a 33 by 52, which I believe holds 25,000 gallons, roughly. So where I was questioning about the pool maintenance was because I know what it takes to run a big pool. We have to winterize it. We have to drain our pumps. We have to drain our pipes, and we have to take care of it. And when the pool liner, pools, we have to replace that as well. So it's nothing like a concrete pool and a public pool with all of that. So did the pool have a warranty?
No, I'm not aware of any warranty on the pool. It was built in 1998. We have no paperwork here about any warranties on pools. As you heard the consultants say, pools run into problems, and I guess 15 to 25-year range or whatever. Is that a fair assessment? Right. As I mentioned, the Hopkins County pool was built in 2007, and they're closed this year for the same reason. They just have stuff that's worn out. And
I was hearing him
10 years longer than that. Yeah.
Well, so we actually got a little bit more time out of it, it sounds like.
Yeah, you have a little more time.
From what he said of the wear and tear. Because I've taken all of my kids to that pool, and I love that pool. Everybody's like, well, why are you coming to the aquatic center? But I went there because our pool doesn't have a water slide, and we don't get to socialize with all of the people that we know in LaGrange. So we do meet and hang out, and that's why I enjoy going to the pool. And I really hate to see it, but it sounds like after I'm hearing everything that you were saying from your records in 17, 18, and 19, and $65,000 is what you had said.
Prior to the 2017 year, every year we have done all the maintenance that was brought to our attention that we needed to do, and we followed through on it. So
That's what you said, right?
I don't know what else we could have done.
I accepted, so I admit that I was wrong because I jumped the gun. So
That's all
I
right.
apologize.
Sure, we accept that. We understand that it's very difficult to communicate all the facts immediately about everything to everyone who's interested. Circumstances, bring forward further explanations. We haven't. Some people have said we didn't. We have the money to fix it. We've had the money to undertake all the projects that we've undertaken and the ones that are planned. We're not a poor county. We're able to meet our bills and pay them. We haven't delayed on one project to do another. It's just that things come up and you have to deal with them as they come up. So this is.
And you guys have the money to fix it then?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for your time and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the fiscal court? Okay. Remember, we ask you to state your name and address and just.
My name is John Lackner. I live at 1704 Mahogany Run Drive, LaGrange. I came here because I wanted to make sure that you were actually going to renovate or replace the pool. That's my biggest concern now. I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of Kentucky. I ran a large chemical plant, and you always have to spend some percentage of your assets every year on maintenance. So your $65,000 out of your $2.5 million seems pretty reasonable to me. I need to make sure that you understand how important this pool is to all the people that I've been talking to. This is not something that should be replaced with a splash park or anything else. They need this pool. My grandchildren have been in this pool since they were 4. Now they're in the state championships and doing great in the state of Kentucky in the high school level. You need the pool. You need to renovate it as soon as possible. If it takes 15 months, let's get started. We could have done 15 months a year ago as far as I'm concerned. Your jobs as a leader of our county is to think ahead. Right away, the life of a pool's 15 to 18 years. It should have been on the books to have it replaced. So, as somebody who knows I know all about piping. I've done construction. I've built major chemical plants. Let's get this thing built and underway and keep these kids happy, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe Magistrate Hounds wanted to make a comment here.
Judge, as a member of the pool committee, Magistrate Tice asked me if I would be a part of the pool committee. I should have said no, but I didn't. But let me explain to everybody. The judge made a comment, and everything he said is correct 100%. But since the time we've ramped this up, I think we've had 5 pool meetings in the last 3 weeks. That's a lot of meetings for us to have for a situation. We will have as many meetings as we need to. It's not uncommon to have a meeting called at a short notice. But I want to assure people that we are not closing the pool. The members of the pool committee, that was never a conversation. The conversation was closing the pool for a year to get it fixed and get it fixed correctly. Band-aiding the pool was a very short conversation, like about 3 minutes, because by the time when we talk about band-aiding the pool, all that's going to do is take and kick the can down the road. We don't want to do that. It's going to be a big hit not to have the pool for this year, but we are committed to getting the pool back open as quickly as possible. What Magistrate Tice spoke about is our plans going forward. Every member of the court's been briefed about that. And I think that it's a little bit shy. It's not 100% accurate. We're all one team. Okay? I don't necessarily agree with everything the judge does. He doesn't necessarily agree with everything I do, and that's fine. But some of the comments directed directly at the judge, not necessarily correct. This is a group of 9. Did I do my math right? Yes, we're all here today. So, we take the good with the bad. As a member of the pool committee, I'm committed to making sure we get the pool open as quickly as possible and get the finest product that we can so we can get the additional 15 years as our consultants have talked about. Hopefully, in a few minutes, I'm hoping that Magistrate Tice makes his motion. We get this out on the table. We get the RFQ out there. We get it turned around as quickly as we can, and we fix the problem. There is a commitment to fix the pool. Don't think anything different. You come up to the mic. We can't. They won't be able to hear you. And I apologize. We got to be careful on answering the question. It's public comment, not us rebuttaling back and forth.
I know that. But my main question is, we've known the pool's had problems. We've known that we've been band-aiding it for years. My only thing is if we had some transparency sooner than just when we called, we found out about the pool probably not opening for sure when I called to start setting up when we were going to do home meets, what the contract was to get all of our ball rolling for swim team. If there'd been a little more notice and transparency, I think maybe so many people wouldn't have been upset. I know you will have to wait and have your meetings, but my thing is,
it's not necessarily the meetings. There's a process that we have to follow as far as putting the information, doing an RFQ, which is a request for proposal. Request for qualifications. And then
I'm not talking about fixing it. I'm just talking about the fact that you were going to close for this year. You've got all the schools.
We were trying not to have to close. That decision did not come.
I'm just saying if we'd had.
I know.
You found something, but our problem we're running into now is a lot of places are already planned, programmed, and things like that.
What we understand. We were trying to get the situation not to be what it is. It didn't work.
That's just what I need. I just wondered. That way I can go back to my parents on the swim team and give them an answer so that maybe they stop calling and harassing everybody and we can be a joint group.
Can I say one thing?
Magistrate Likens.
I'd like to ask Gary, he's the guy that's out there trying to maintain this. What is the leaking? How much is that pool leaking currently, and how much did it cost us a month to keep water in it? That surprised me when it came up to the one of our meetings we had.
To answer your question, this summer we were filling 24/7 because if we did not, it would drop every bit of 3-4 foot of water overnight to a tune of $10,000 every month just to put water in the pool. In doing that, you're adding all that water. You cannot keep chlorine in the water, so it is unsafe. We're adding more money to get the chlorine in there. And we turned the pumps off. It was empty in 2 weeks. Completely empty.
Thank you. I just wanted the people here to know that we were spending $10,000 a month to keep water in that pool, and it was dropping 3 or 4 feet a day. That's something you can't Band-Aid, I don't think. I just wanted
we
to
didn't have that problem previously.
We've had leaking previously, but not to that extent.
If we delay this action today, it will kick us out of another season. It will not only take 15 months. If we wait one more month, we're going to lose 2023 also. So I just want to throw that out there. Turn it over to Stephanie, please.
All right, we haven't finished public comments yet, so I'd like to ask the magistrates to please hold by. Would you like to come forward? Sure, go ahead. And who's ever? You have to be brave enough to stand up next. Okay, all right. Please state your name and address.
My name is Lisa Paris, 1802 Hunters Trace, LaGrange. And I'm sorry that you seem to get all the venom in the vinegar. it shouldn't be that way. But you are the ultimate responsible person that everybody can look up to as the leadership of our county and our fiscal court. And I guess that comes with some downsides too. So my questions are, and I'm not a pool owner, but we have been looking into pools because I don't want to bring my kids to that public pool because it's always too crowded and it doesn't seem very hygienic to me. So we looked into pools last summer, and we can get a 25-foot by 40-foot pool made of fiberglass with a salt system, lifetime warranty, and all this for about $100,000, and that includes moving the earth and a cement apron all the way around it. And so I'm just wondering, why don't we consider something like that? If these pools are not going to last more than 20 or 30 years, why don't we put like an adult pool here, 30 by 40, a swim team pool here, and a kids pool here that's 3 feet deep, and then a kiddie pool. We could have 4 pools lined up for $400,000 and then save the 2.5 mil to do something later with. And then we have enough pools that if one went bad, we could fix that one, and then the kids wouldn't have to suffer without having a pool for the summer. We could kind of rotate replacing them over the years and still spend 20% of the amount of money on pools.
Well, okay, I can't really answer that question other than say, a backyard pool that you put into your home is not the same as a public pool. And I'm sure you want to answer that, Charlie?
Sit back down.
Yeah, okay.
So yes, in short, a backyard pool and a commercial public pool is 2 completely different things. From a pool code standpoint to begin with, the code requirements the state puts on a public pool is much more stringent. The turnover rates, the quality of the water, the control system, the chemical control systems, everything about it is at a higher level than you would at a public pool. In the same way that a public building is not a house. It's just a completely different animal. As to options on multiple pools, that was one thing that we actually spoke about doing. So there's some things to do with that, but they're just completely different animals. You have to go through the public bidding process. You have to have qualified contractors that have to have licensed commercial contractors paying wage rates and competitive bids and bonds and all the other things that go around with public bid projects that raise the cost of that beyond the code required system differences in the pools too.
Okay, so
while he's up there, I'm a big fan of the state parks in the state of Kentucky, and most of the ones that have lodges have pools. Some of them are, I know, 60 years old. How have they, besides a pile of money, been able to make that happen?
We work with the State Parks Department on a number of pools. We just did a renovation last year on EP Tom Sawyer. Yes, just like this pool, they go through annual reviews, and they take a look at the pools and do system replacement projects. A lot of times when you have pools that get to be that age, what you see is that you'll have smaller major renovation throughout the year. So at the 10-year mark, you might replace the filter systems. At the 15-year mark, you might go out and replace or renovate the slide. At the 20-year mark, then you might do a renovation on the shell of the pool. So if you're doing these smaller continual renovations, you're able to make the entire system last longer. There are definitely pools that we've seen in operation that were built in the 1930s, and a lot and built in the 1960s and 70s. But every single one of them have had major renovations along the way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. I think next person, please just stand and come forward.
Hello, my name is Renee Toombs. I live at 2422 Eastwood Circle in Crestwood. And I feel like I am the only one here in support of option number 3. I come with the slogan, don't just save it, upgrade it. We need an indoor pool facility in Oldham County. The county is growing rapidly, and what we have is just not going to be able to support the needs in the community for the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm going to throw some numbers out here since this is a numbers game and tell you what we are currently spending and we are sending out of county for winter swim sports, not just summer, winter. We have 3 high school teams. Our seasons run between September and February. Each team has about 50 kids. This does include a few 7th and 8th graders from the middle schools. We practice Monday through Friday before and after school, and we have meets almost every weekend in January and February. We also had about 10 kids from each school represent Oldham County at state competitions these past couple weekends, and we placed. We have some stuff to be proud of. Currently, South and OC pay $9,000 a season to Blairwood. So I'm sure North, I'm not sure what their numbers are, but I'm sure it's comparable. For the swim meets that we host, which are small little fundraisers for us, but we invite surrounding swim teams to compete, we pay U of L, I believe Coach said about $2,000 a meet. So for every meet that we throw, we're paying $2,000 to U of L to use their facilities. So that's what we have in the county right now. As soon as you open your doors in September or October, that is money from our school system that we will pay for this facility. In addition to that, there are many 7th and 8th graders who do not want to swim up. They're just a little nervous, but with a local facility, we have the potential to have middle school swim teams in addition to the high school swim teams that would also swim there. Henry, Shelby, Trimble counties might also want to use this new facility. Their pools are starting to get old as well. So we have potential to bring those in to also raise revenue. And USA Swimmers, this is a competitive swim league. They swim college level. It's a big deal. And they have swim meets that last all weekend long. So now we have what I like to dub swim tourism. We have all these counties coming in to these USA meets, and they will stay in our hotels. They will eat our food. It's a good thing. So I know it's going to cost a lot. I know it's going to be another year of inconvenience, but we absolutely need an indoor facility, and we need a facility that Oldham County is going to need in 10 years from now. And 10 years from now, what we have now is not gonna be okay. So that's my speech. I do have a ton of parents who are interested and like this proposition. We are happy to write letters, send emails, make phone calls. How much time do we have, and how many names do you need? Is my question for this to be a consideration, because it's needed. And I have a senior who's graduating this year from South, and I have a swimmer who's a sophomore. I asked this for the county, and my kids will never use it. But it's a good program. We need it. So how many names do you need? How many letters do you need to even get this to be a consideration? And if you're voting for an RFQ at the end of this meeting, can we have a few more days to get these signatures to show that there is a need and an interest for this? Because we do. The school board's not building a pool.
I know, but these are the school teams.
These parents on these school teams to write you to let you know we want an indoor facility. That's what I'm saying. Is there a number you need for this to be considered? That's my question. Is it too late? Are you voting on that this afternoon?
These same letters to the school board?
Well, but I can't. We can, but what do we need to do? I guess is my question. How do we get this ball rolling? I was sent here, and I'm the only one.
Why would you not direct your efforts at the school board that is the authority over the 3 schools you're talking about?
Because this will be a county. This will be a county pool that these schools rent, just like we rent Blairwood. We're not asking the schools to build a pool. Y'all are going to build a pool that the schools rent and keep the money in the county. Am I misunderstanding this?
Question for you. When you say that money is being paid to like Blairwood, is it paid for by the parents who are on a boosters?
It is.
School is not.
Yes.
School isn't fronting the money. It's the parents that are raising money to pay for it. So it's different. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to step out a little further on the ledge here, and I'm speaking for myself only. I have spoken with the superintendent about, and the chairman of the school board, about an indoor pool. If we have an indoor pool, it would probably need to be in another location. and not Wendell Moore Park. And the fiscal court by itself probably would not want to enter into it without some kind of joint circumstance with the Board of Education for us to run it. But they have a construction budget that the Board of Education, at one time, a school was going to be built in over off, where am I thinking? 329 there at Halls Hill in that area. Those construction plans did have a natatorium in them. That school idea got dropped, but that's been about 8 or 10 years ago, but I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly why, but I wouldn't say I personally would be in favor of a natatorium, but we have a shorter problem here to fix. A natatorium might be something to go some other part in the county, be close to the interstate. Love to see a Marriott or something close by for people to come. I believe in your dream and what you're trying to communicate, but it's also a very big ticket item, very big.
It is.
I mean, it would far surpass the 6 or 7 million we talked about renovating this. Some communities have them, though. I understand. It would probably take what we call a bonding issue, and it would be a long-term payoff. We're spending $26 million at the courthouse. I don't think an indoor swimming facility would cost that amount, but it might reach 15. I have no idea what. We've talked to the consultants about it as well. They've shown us things from around the country, but we've got a problem here we need to fix as soon as we can. That would probably be a longer range issue and discussion to have with a broader range group of people. So, but it's not that we're insensitive to the idea, or at least I'm not.
I apologize if it came off that. I thought.
It's all right.
I guess I don't.
You're trying to advocate for something that.
Throw a bubble on it? Can we throw a bubble in that budget?
Bubbles have to be taken apart and stored in the summertime. It's kind of bubbles an idea too, but they don't.
Reach out to me too.
Sorry,
Give me your contact. Email it to me, maybe. It's Stephanie Hawkins. Yeah.
Stephanie, right.
Got my email.
I
understand a number of parents have spoken to me about this, and it's just that we need to move faster on this than we probably can. That's a bigger project, a bigger conversation that would take several years to probably get through. But I understand. I agree with you. I think it would be a beautiful thing for the county.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for coming.
My voice is probably a little shaky. I'm Greta Swinney, Dunkel, address 1807 West Mount Zion Road, and I have lived in this county basically my whole life. I think my family's been here since it was Virginia, maybe. We're kind of weird like that, but anyhow, I have a.
There you go. Thank you.
I have a kind of a series of questions and then just kind of random statements. I'm not super organized with this. I just heard about it this past week. But I felt in my heart that I needed to come and voice my opinion and my story a little bit. I believe I was one of the first Oldham County swimmers to make it to state. And that was in the 90s to 95. I actually swam for Lakeside. So in the school year, I had 8 practices a week that I would go to Crescent Hill for. My parents would take me there. In the summers, it was 9 practices a week, all the way to Trevelyan Lane and Bardstown Road. And don't forget the little lost corner where I just said we live, the last 393 and 1818, way back there. Anywho, the importance of a swimming pool, the importance of an indoor facility. It is so far past due, and it is, I know it's a lot of money. I believe that this county, I believe that we need to make this of utmost importance. Obviously, we've got all these meetings and all this stuff and $2.5 million in repairs, and everyone knows how important it is to have a pool.
Not repairs, it's renovation.
I mean, what's going on at the old Tri-County Fort? That'd be a great place for a centrally located auditorium in this county. Shelby County has an Olympic-sized pool. You said, everybody's closing down the pools like Jefferson County. Jefferson County has 5 Olympic pools in it. That's where all of these swimmers from all over the county, the 10 swimmers that make it to state, they're not just practicing with their high school team. They're practicing for Cardinal Aquatics and they're practicing for Lakeside. And all of that money, like she said, all of that. Think about an indoor auditorium that you could have, you know, your water aerobics during the morning, your little baby swim lessons during the morning. You've got the kids' schools rotated in the afternoons. You're making money from outsiders. You're making money from outside teams. You're making money on meet weekends, big time. I would propose that if all possible, that we go ahead and bite the bullet and spend the money on an indoor auditorium, Band-Aid the pool 1 more year. We can't let down. She said she's got 200 swimmers. How many swimmers this year? 200 swimmers? I mean, just the lives saved alone from this many kids in this county knowing how. My baby swam there. Caleb was 3. My kids are older now. They wouldn't be able to use the Olympic-sized pool that we need, but maybe my grandkids will. You know, and it's time in this county. We've got the money. We're affluent. We've got the need. I don't know that she had the time to dig deep enough to see what. I don't even know how expensive it is to swim anymore. My parents told me they paid Lakeside $400 a month for me. So it's an expensive sport. There's money to be made. It's like you gotta spend money to make money, kind of thing. $6-7 million. I've always heard it was about 8. Sorry if that I'm arguing against myself. About $8 million for an auditorium.
I don't think you could touch it for that.
You don't think you could touch an auditorium? He just said that in his. He said to build a new pool would be 6 or 7 million, but we need 2.5 in repairs.
Renovated to about 2.5. A new pool taken from scratch is right at 6 to 7. Yeah. And the question was about that.
Yeah.
It's an outdoor pool.
Yes, it would have to be an auditorium. And that would be another suggestion. I know I've had 4 seconds. I've always dreamt and I always heard when the pool was built originally in Buckner that the swimmer lanes, the practice area was supposed to have a bubble on it, but we ran out of space and we didn't know where to store the bubble and all this stuff, so we made it smaller. It's not even an Olympic-sized pool. We're talking,
Pretty close. Yeah.
meters. Right. We need 50-meter pool with a bulkhead so you can have 25 yards. Because swimmers swim in either 25 yards or they swim 50
Greta,
meters.
thank you. For 4 minutes. Okay.
I hope you take it into consideration. Like, I feel like we could Band-Aid, build a pool in the interim, and that way all of the community is going to feel like you are doing something going forward, not backwards with the pool situation.
Okay. Thank you. Magistrate Tice.
And I understand everything you've talked about, we just talked about over the last 2-3 months, and we've just beat it up as much as we can. So we covered all of that. And so we've just about covered. The only way to get what we think that is utmost important, getting the pool open, is to go this route right now. Now, and we've discussed in committee, okay, if this gets done, then that buys us time so that we can further have these discussions the next several years. And I didn't mention all that today because all of that kind of gets in the way of making a decision today to get all of the kids. Because what you've talked about mainly is swimmers and a relationship to swimmers. And we're trying to get all the community taken care of right now. And then if we go forward, then that may very well be part of the discussion. But if we don't go on and act quickly, which was the last part of my speech to the magistrates, then, we're under the gun to get this thing done in 23. And if everything goes well, it'll happen. So, but if we do anything other than that, then we're going to be at least 1, maybe 2 more years to do all that stuff, okay? Because then you have to, but then you have to make plans. Are we just going to build the natatorium all by itself and sit it there like Mary T. Maher? I'm not sure that's what.
Years.
It does, but it's also dealing with the million population in there, and we don't have. I don't want to get into the debate. We'll do that.
Well, okay. Come on now,
Judge.
We're not. The public comment is not to carry on a debate. I know you're. That's all right. I know you're passionate about your feelings, and we appreciate that. And, all right, but right, sure, no, I understand, and I'm under the impression, based on our consultants, that we are past the Band-Aid stage. Or Charlie, would you agree with that? Right, we're just too far, and I'm sorry. The timing of things happens sometimes in a way that it's not our intention, but we looked at this at the end of the season, and we had someone come in who made an assessment that said, hey, too much problem here. Then we went out to find the consultant to come in and found Branstetter Carroll. We're one of 3 high-quality companies that applied. They built pools all over the country. They're experts, and they know what they're doing. And to tell us really what our problems are, and the problems are too big to fix in the short run. I have mentioned on Facebook that I've tried to find some alternatives. Paramount Estates has a pool. They're willing to let people participate in the summer. They don't have lifeguards there, though. Okay, that's an issue. Been talking to the YMCA, trying to see if we could get something. They have, here in town or in Oldham County, they also have basically, I think 11 facilities all over Jefferson County, but really Norton Commons would be the one that I think the vast majority of people would be interested in. They do have an indoor pool there. It's $97 a month for a family pass. It is less than that for 2 persons or an adult single or for children. So, and they do have an outdoor pool. There's an extra fee associated with, if called Cordoba Cove or something like that, if you belong to the Y. So, and they're very happy to accept as many Oldham County people would like to come as possible. So, we're sorry about the situation. We're just stuck, and we have to fix this thing, and don't have an alternative. And I personally would like to see a natatorium in our county. It's a big leap. It's an expensive proposition. If we could piece together the financing from 3 or 4 Mays, maybe we could have it. But we just can't snap our fingers and decide we're going in that direction. It's too big a bite. I think, right. I think it would be of service to our community and would be very valuable to have. Sure, I appreciate that. Magistrate Hawkins, do we have a sec? Have you made a motion yet? You haven't made a motion.
I'm going to say something, then I'll make
Okay,
the motion.
Magistrate Hawkins.
But I appreciate all of the passion. Believe me, I'm part of the pool committee as well. So my sentiment, like Magistrate Hounds, is very similar of like, maybe this wasn't a good idea being a part of this committee, but I'm glad to be here and part of it and in the line of fire. And Renee was very passionate. Y'all are very passionate. And believe me, I've been the emotional with the consultant, with everybody involved about the closing to renovate, and also about the natatorium. And my big dream, which we can get into a different day, I promised I would not squirrel and go off of my big dream for Oldham County, because like I think it's over appropriate and overdue. So yeah, different day. Right now, I'd like to make the motion that we move forward with an RFQ to design and engineer the Oldham County Aquatic Center pool for renovation.
A second.
Add construction documents to my design and engineer. Add construction documents to that motion too, please, Denise.
Second, Judge.
It's discussion. Tracy Woosley.
And I agree that it is time for us to do an RFQ to get this fixed. And I'm not putting the blame on fiscal court for the shape that the pool is in. But what I am laying at our feet is our failure to communicate with our constituents on the shape of the pool, and that needs to change. And I knew 3 months ago when you guys started talking about that, that was the time to start getting with our pool groups and saying there's a chance it may not open, not in March. So that is something we need to own and something we need to do better with. We're hearing there's an opportunity to partner with other groups, and it is time Oldham County Fiscal Court stepped out and went to the school board and said, let's partner and get something in this county that we deserve. So with that, I will support this RFQ to get the pool assessment going.
Any other discussion here? All right, there was a motion on the floor to go out for what we call a request for qualifications. And then those qualifications would be from a company that is capable of designing and a pool, fixing this pool and coming up with a design for that and construction plan documents. Right. Pardon? For renovation. We're trying to avoid the word repair, because repair, that's what we've done is repair. We've tried to keep it going, but regardless in the past, so all right, got a motion on the floor in a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda today is personnel actions. Is Tina Shaw here? All right.
Should we do the finance thing?
Oh, sorry.
Aye.
As you die.
Come on down.
Thank you, Judge. I have two motions to do. I'm going to do them separately, so we'll have to have two votes. These motions have to do with the CPI for both the fiscal court employees and detention center employees, and the second motion will deal with the magistrates and the coroner. Okay. So the first motion is effective 3/13/22. All fiscal court employees, including employees of the detention center, will receive a 4% CPI.
All right. What was that date?
3/13.
All right. We got moved and seconded that all county employees, including jail, receive a 4% cost of living increase effective March 13th. And we've got a second on that. Is there any discussion here among the magistrates? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Second motion is very similar to the first one. The magistrates and the county coroner, effective 3/13/22, will also receive a 4% CPI.
All right. Moved and seconded. Magistrates and coroner also are going to get a CPI increase on March 13th of 4%. Any discussion on that? Magistrate Woosley.
It's the last time the coroners and magistrates received a CPI increase.
Last year. Right.
Thank you.
They
Should come out on the CPI letter. They're specifically pointed out on the CPI letter.
In February.
Right. It's they traditionally do. The salaries, actual salaries for magistrates and the coroner are all set in the spring of the fourth year of each term. So they will be set in May, I guess. Is it May? What did he say? May for the subsequent 4 years. Okay, but CPI is a little different. That's a cost of living increase based on, and of course, I know the government, they came out with 7% here. So 4 may sound severe, but 7% is really what they said last year's CPI was. So, all right. So, any other discussion on this? Oh, not yet. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Right. We won't give it to you. Motion carries. Okay. Thank you.
Judge, one thing along that same line of thinking, this is a CPI in payment. This is not a raise to their base salary or the salary that they receive for the job that they're doing now. This is basically an attempt to catch them up and keep their buying power at what it is or what it was, and hopefully bring it up. So,
All right. I think we've now, Ms. Schaaf, you want to come forward with the personnel items?
And before you this afternoon, we have a motion. Planning and Development Services. We have Matt Dunaway for Chief Building Official at $28.60 per hour, and that's effective today.
Right, and Matt is replacing Mark Tice, who is retiring. A motion to approve that promotion. Discussion on it? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Item is a new hire at the Parks and Rec Building Monitor, Gian Riley, at $7.50 an hour, and that would be effective tomorrow.
The motion, Judge.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Two dispatchers coming on as part-timers. You'll see Nick Wilt and Amberly Green. Amberly Green, we accepted her resignation and was going to be from full-time. It would be effective today, but we're actually going to change her status now to part-time, and we'll use both of these people as part-time as needed to fill in until we get back up to full staff at $25 an hour, and that'll be effective tomorrow.
I'll make a motion that we hire Nick Wilt and Amberly Green as part-time.
All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
How many dispatchers are we down currently?
Two, but am I wrong?
Yes, two dispatchers. So they can go to the website and get an application.
Apply online at oldhamcountyky.gov.
Yeah, right. We're going to be trying to pick up another person here as we go along. So, all right. We have a motion and the second made on hiring these people. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now for the Tourism Commission, I would like to reappoint Damon Baird to a term that would expire on the 2nd of March, 2025. And
Judge, what's his background? I saw that it's a reappointment, but I can't remember.
Runs the hotel.
Put you on the spot. I apologize.
You're right. You put me right in the middle of that spot there. I can't remember. This is, does he work? Yeah. Okay. That's it. I've got it now. He's the general manager of the Holiday.
I'll make the motion to appoint Damian Baird to the, reappointed to the Tourism Commission.
Okay, thank you. All right. I apologize for not being able to come up with that right on the spot there, but I think he's done a good job. Kim Buckler has been helped quite a bit by him. So. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're at our second public comment, and you have anything to say that wasn't said earlier? Those that spoke earlier, this is just for people who haven't spoken yet. So go ahead. Yes, sir.
Sullivan County Engineer. Judge and magistrates, earlier you opened a proposal from Atlas Technical Consultants for water quality monitoring and it's an annual task we've been doing. This is the third year consecutively. This is the same group that has done it for the past 3 years for us. Their proposal amount is within the budget that we expected. So in order to expedite the work, I would like to ask the fiscal court award this project to Atlas Technical Consultants in the amount of $9,300.
Make that motion, Judge.
All right, so second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we award the project to Atlas Consultants. Is that right? Yeah, all okay.
What project are you talking about? The Locust?
This is the annual surface water quality monitoring program.
Okay. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. All right, we're just about ready to wind up. Mentioned this would be a shorter meeting today. Weren't too many items on the agenda. The Magistrate Logston, would you have anything you'd like to add?
Things. I want to thank David Kennedy with the District 5 Highway Garage is retired. We retired yesterday. So I want to thank him for his service. He was a great leader down there. I think he was there about a year. But a guy by the name of Donnie Dixon will now be a person of contact at the garage there in Buckner. And also I wanted to say I will be at Peavy Valley City Hall this afternoon from 6 to 7.
Thank you, Magistrate Dye.
Judge.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Environmental Recycling and Utilities Committee meeting this morning, and we have a Curry's Watershed Coordinator. Her name is Rebecca Truman, and she's just fantastic. And I just wanted to list just a few things that she has on, mostly paid for through grants. And these are things that she's having a hard time letting the community know that these things are out there. So I'll share a little bit too. She has a rain barrel program if you're interested in rain barrel, a pollinator program. We do live stakes at if you have a stream or a body of water that's near your house that's eroding. We go out there in the spring and fall and it's a group of volunteers and then the homeowner to plant live stakes. And this helps prevent further erosion. So that's a fun kind of community thing. And she's in charge of that. And then we also have a septic system match program. And so if you're interested in any of those, you can reach out to me or reach out to Becca Truman. And I think she's on Facebook under Oldham County Curry's Watershed Coordinator. And so that's all I have today, Judge.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Hounds.
Thank you, Judge. Tomorrow starts Lent for some of us, the period of time before Easter, and it does kick up the fish fries. If you're interested in a Fish Fry Friday, I'll give a selfish plug for mine. I'll let Magistrate Greenwell speak to another one. But St. Aloysius will have their fish fry. We have it tomorrow night from 5 to 7 and Friday nights from 5 to 7 for the next 8 weeks. Come out and we have drive-through, carry out, dine in. And if you are so inclined, you can get yourself a cool, refreshing cold beer.
Is it every Wednesday?
Just tomorrow.
Just tomorrow
and then at Fridays, 8 Fridays.
How much is it? Okay.
I'd have to give you the whole menu. It's not, yes. I can send it to
good.
you.
I'm hungry.
There's baked fish also. For those of you that don't believe in fish fries, you can have baked fish. Don't understand that in a fish fry, but
you know, Magistrate Greenwell, I don't quite understand this because Magistrate Hound said they're going to have it for the next 8 weeks, didn't he? And
Judge down in St. Aloysius, they have to do that an extra 2 weeks. They have to be more
6 weeks.
I was going to say eight times 7 is 56. I thought it was only 40 days in Lent.
So I'm off a week or two.
He's cheating somewhere there.
I was trying to see if you were awake, Judge, for the math. My mistake.
Yeah. Magistrate Greenwell.
To go along with that, the Immaculate Conception Church on 5th Street here in LaGrange is having their fish fries. We don't have it on Wednesday. We start on Friday, this coming Friday. Prices are from $8 to $12, depending on the size of the meal, and starts at 4:30, I believe, until 7. And then, yes, we do have drive-through, yes. And then we had another rousing road committee meeting today, Judge, and we had good attendance and good participation. And I contend that is the most successful committee in fiscal court, and it is strictly due to the staff, believe me.
All right. Thank you. Magistrate Woosley.
A few things. The first, I wanted to recognize the passing of John Pierce, who passed away on February 14th. He was a longtime deputy with our sheriff's office and longtime Oldham County resident.
The other thing is I want to congratulate Ann Brown, who is also a longtime resident and former clerk for us, for getting the Oldham County of the Year. Arbor Day is coming up on April 29th. And finally, tomorrow is the statewide tornado drill at 10:07. So we'll sound the alarms here. They will across the state at 10:07 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Andrew Tice.
The only thing I've got is in the next couple of months, hopefully Tetra Tech will bring forward to us, not hopefully, but they will bring forward to us the Shamebach Westport Park final plan, and what we see is it's in their hands now, and hopefully they'll get it done, and we'll see it and have the presentation on that. So thank you.
And thank you. Magistrate Likens.
You Judge, I just want to say it's an exciting time to be a magistrate with the new animal control building we're doing, the pool renovation, the parks, which I still call Westport Park.
Schambach Park.
And I understand we've got a new library that's coming up for an announcement pretty soon over in my area of the county. And there's just a lot going on right now.
All right, thank you.
Broadband, didn't you?
Right.
Broadband.
Forgot the broadband is, we're working on that. Something's coming hopefully soon here. We've got, we're close, and we're also looking for off ramps to start on the interstate soon at the Louis Dampier Bridge. And got a few other things in wings, and there's just a lot of things going on. And so we're, the courthouse is going to get moved. They say next week. It was going to move this week, but the water that came and last week was too wet, made the ground too wet. So they're going to move it next week. It'll be a slow process. I mean, if you want to watch it go, I think the Weir constructors are going to have a time lapse series of pictures on their website. Would probably be the best way to watch it. If you come in person to see it, you probably won't see much because it's only going to move a foot an hour. So that's I can't divide 12 by 60 minutes right this second, so I don't know. It's not going to move too fast, so it's going to be a little bit. So, right, yes, okay. One more question. Yes. On Friday at 4 p.m. LaGrange Fire at LaGrange Fire Station. Where? Okay, at the LaGrange Memorial Site on the courthouse lawn. 4 p.m. Friday, LaGrange Fire will have a memorial service for Richard Drake. He was a fireman who was killed several years ago when he was struck by a train along Highway 146. Okay, but don't know. I mean, we have to work with the contractor, moving the building, letting people on the property. All that's tricky, So, okay, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.